What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Scoop. Today, I am going to be discussing the incoming DESHAUN Watson rumors pertaining where he will end up, and including my Miami Dolphins, Carolina Panthers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, I don't think DESHAUN Watson is going to play this season. Let me just get that out in the air. I think there's too much on the line for him. We haven't really discussed this as a channel because we've wanted to remain out of this conversation because obviously it's a touching subject. But I'm just going to put it out there and say I do not believe that DESHAUN Watson will play a snap this season. There's too much against him. Obviously, the 22 or 24 accounts of sexual assault, that's hard to get by. If he's innocent, it would be terrible to see that his career will still most likely be tainted because I can't see a way that Roger Goodell doesn't either put him on the commissioner's list or he doesn't get suspended, or either way though, I'm not gonna go on and on about that because that is only one of the few options for DESHAUN Watson. I'm going to start with the most likely outcome, and that is DESHAUN Watson does not leave the Houston Texans. He stays and does not play, that other than him being suspended or potentially arrested. If DESHAUN Watson were to stay in Houston, they would keep looking for trades. The media would keep hyping up trades to him, for him to Miami, for him to Carolina, for him to Denver, all these teams that need quarterbacks. They're going to keep hyping it up because that's what the media does. They confuse you. They want you to click on their article. They want you to click on their tweet. So they put stuff out that makes you want that. So I think the most likely outcome for DESHAUN Watson is he ends up staying in Houston, not playing a snap. And then the second most likely outcome, as much as I hate to say it, is that he ends up in Miami, just based on recent tweets and based on recent articles I've seen. And again, I know the media hypes stuff up, I just said that, but he's not going to waive his no trade clause for him to end up on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I don't believe the Carolina Panthers are really actively pursuing him, and I don't think Miami are either, don't get me wrong, but DESHAUN Watson himself has said his dream destination is Miami, and there are players, and as much as I hate it, there are players on the Miami Dolphins that do not believe that Tua is the answer. And the outcome to this would be potentially DESHAUN Watson comes over, gets arrested, and does not play a snap in Miami. DESHAUN Watson comes over, gets suspended, does not play a snap in Miami, and the Miami Dolphins lose a lot of draft capital, not to mention they have to pay his hefty salary. But the other option is DESHAUN Watson gets cleared, which I'm not going to tell you whether or not he is or isn't guilty because I don't have the inside information. I'm a 16-year-old kid. But DESHAUN Watson in Miami, if everything goes right, will be a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa, which I think we all see that. And he will potentially lead this team to, I know I've been saying he doesn't win games, so I'm not going to go tell you he's going to beat Mahomes for the Super Bowl or anything. But this team will make the playoffs very comfortably with him, and even without him, I think they could make the playoffs, and my prediction would be that they do. But with DESHAUN Watson, that solidifies all of that, and they make the playoffs. And my personal opinion on this, I want them to stick with Tua. They've gone in 3 weeks into the offseason with or even 5 weeks into preseason now. 3 weeks into preseason, 5 weeks into the offseason, with Tua Tagovailoa at the helm. I don't think they changed that. They're too well-oiled of an organization with Flores, who's from the Belichick tree. He would never do something to jeopardize, first of all, the well-being of the franchise with a possibility of blowing away 5 picks for one quarterback that might not play a snap. And second of all, I think that they've been shaping this offense to beat Tua as they drafted Jalen Waddle at 6, and it would be completely catastrophic for them to trade for DESHAUN Watson, given the fact that they've been building this up for Tua. And I think after coming off 9 games last season where he won 6 of them, you could say 5 because Fitzpatrick did come in and win the game against Vegas. But he's fully healthy now. It was a very, very bad injury he got in college. He's completely healed. He looks like he's balling out in preseason. But again, it's preseason, so what are we going to know? We're going to see what we see. So the next option would be that Deshaun Watson ends up in Philadelphia. And I said he wouldn't waive his no-trade clause, and Philadelphia did just trade for Gardner Minshew. That being said, though, I don't think they're satisfied with having Jalen Hurts. And again, I don't like this. I like giving quarterbacks time to rejuvenate in the next season, adjust to the situation they have. They just drafted him a receiver, Devontae Smith, who I'm sure he'll love playing with. And he seems to like scrambling out and running, and I like that out of the duality of a quarterback. He seems like he could be one of the top guys in terms of rushing and passing. And from a fantasy outlook, I know this isn't how I usually like to talk about things, but from a fantasy outlook, he does look like a promising quarterback. So I don't like that they're looking to trade for a new quarterback only 1 year into Jalen Hurts' promising 4 games. But that being said, trading for Deshaun Watson takes them from 4 wins to maybe 7 wins, and maybe in that terrible division of theirs, that's enough for them to get a wild card spot even, because the NFC looks very shaky this year, or a division win. So that being said, again, it doesn't make sense for them to trade their future away for someone who might not play a snap. I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't want my words to be twisted into saying this is a great idea, trade for Deshaun Watson, because no organization in their right mind would do this at the very moment. And then I have another option actually, but the third option is the Carolina Panthers, and this is pretty much just me seeing stuff on Twitter about the Panthers being an option for him to go. I don't think this is a really realistic possibility. I think if Deshaun Watson were to end up playing at the Panthers, they wouldn't, if this was honestly an option at all, they wouldn't end up trading for Sam Darnold in the first place. So I don't like this as an option. Again, the Panthers are a very functional franchise. They hired a great coach in Matt Rule. They have new owners. So personally, this doesn't make sense to me because Deshaun Watson, again, might not play a single snap for them. He might be placed on Roger Goodell's commissioner's list. And even if he does go, that Carolina team, it's a quarterback away from the playoffs. Fair. But they wouldn't have traded for Darnold if they didn't think he was worth it. So I don't think this is a strong possibility either. And then the last possibility is Deshaun Watson staying in Houston and playing. And I think this is the least likely possibility, solely because the owner and the general manager do not want him there, and he doesn't want to be there. They are hell-bent on trading him for a lot of picks because they know that their organization is doomed, and he showed them last year, and to no fault of his own, he's a great quarterback who would help pretty much every team in the league. But Houston's a team that, no matter how good their quarterback is, unless it's maybe Mahomes, that they're not going to be able to do anything, and they've traded away their entire future to my Miami Dolphins. And if, again, I'm going to cycle back to Miami Dolphins, if they were to trade back to them, it would be very sad. So the Houston Texans having Deshaun Watson play there, I very strongly doubt it, because I feel like if he does stay at the Texans, he's going to sit out himself. And again, that's a dumb idea because sitting out is like one of the worst things you can do as a professional athlete. You're wasting quality reps away from the field. And secondly, I mean, I don't think the organization wants him there because, again, all the allegations coming his way. It's obviously a heartbreaking time for him. If he is innocent, if he is guilty, lock him up. But I don't want to get into all that because I've said it before. I don't want to get into all that because if I'm wrong, repercussions are coming. So, it's a touchy subject for me to talk about whether or not Deshaun Watson will play this season. So I'm just going to go through, I just went through all the possible opportunities for him to get traded, all the possible opportunities for the other teams, and now I want to talk about collateral damage. And starting off with the Houston Texans keeping him and not playing him, I think Davis Mills would completely benefit from this, and I think Tyrod Taylor would also mentor him. But I think Deshaun Watson as a mentor, a young mentor for Davis Mills, would be very good for a young quarterback because, again, Deshaun Watson, I think he's an overrated quarterback. I'm not going to go out there and tell you that he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. He's borderline top 5. Him and Russ are very close in there. but I think that he's a great quarterback. So him helping out Davis Mills would be a complete success story for the Houston Texans if Davis Mills pans out. Secondly, the collateral damage would be, first of all, Jalen Waddle, and first of all, Tua Tagovailoa, and second of all, Jalen Waddle. First of all, this trade makes no sense to me at all because the Miami Dolphins have set up their entire offense within the last 5 weeks. They drafted Jalen Waddle for Tua. They've put in an offensive line. They just traded for an offensive tackle that'll help Tua inside, Greg Manx. And it doesn't make sense to me that these rumors are coming up. And the only reason I'm really addressing it is because it's a hot topic. But the collateral damage would be that Tua Tagovailoa's confidence goes down, his complete demeanor as a quarterback, unless he gets traded as part of that deal to Houston and he can help turn that organization around, which, again, I don't think any quarterback, other than maybe Patrick Mahomes, can single-handedly turn that organization around. So I don't think it's a great trade for either side. I mean, the only one who benefits off of this is Deshaun Watson, and potentially the Miami Dolphins would win more games. But it's too big of a risk for the possible reward of them winning a couple more games. And then the Carolina Panthers, the collateral damage would obviously be Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold is not someone who's been in the league for too long, but he's been in the league long enough to see his flaws. And I agree to give him another chance to another team. But if he doesn't perform this year, it's hard for me to back him. And I like backing young quarterbacks, but this seems like his last chance. And then Deshaun Watson coming in, I don't think this would help his confidence at all. I don't think this would help his game at all. And I think it would end up with him being traded halfway into the season, which is obviously not a good look. And then lastly, I forgot about Philadelphia. The collateral damage is obviously last year's draft talent, Jalen Hurts, who people think is going to be a very good quarterback this year. So realistically, on both sides, it doesn't look very likely that Deshaun Watson ends up in any of these franchises. But you guys let me know in the comments, why do you think it is a good idea for Deshaun Watson? Put all the allegations aside. As a football player, do you think it's a good idea for Deshaun Watson to come into a new franchise more than halfway into the offseason and reshape them? Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you guys come back to us for more content. We do a lot of film reviews. I personally don't. I don't have the concentration level to do that, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't have the knowledge of defensive sets and offensive formations as much as the other guys can. Surge, they're awesome. Check them out. And then we're going to start up our weekly predictions. We do preview videos on every team. We're going to pump out a lot of them. And follow us on Instagram at _sports_scoop. And then lastly, the final shout out, which you guys will all realize if you've watched the video. If you have any arguments with me as a football analyst, if you have anything from videos past, my Instagram is at Dylan_Shaloms. Argue with me with anything. I guarantee you, if you beat me, I will give you the credit in our next live stream. So thank you. Come back for more videos, and I'll be sure to address the next news that comes up. See ya.